Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra. Well, the Reliance results have come out, and some of the key highlights I'll highlight for all our viewers. Joining us shortly will be a top market expert to decode the earnings for all of you. But for now, what we've received is that the profit for the company, Reliance Industries, has come in at 18,951 crores. This is an improvement versus 17,265 crore rupees. When we look at the revenue figure, that also has jumped up to 2.37 lakh crore rupees versus 2.25 lakh crore rupees. These are numbers which are sequentially I'm comparing for you. Remember, the EBITDA has also shown an improvement, and we have seen an EBITDA figure of 42,516 crore rupees versus 40,656 crore rupees last quarter. Margins have remained largely flat. Last quarter, it was 18.1%. This time around, they've come in at 18%. Joining us now is Mr. Avinash Kurakshakar, Head of Research at Profit Securities. Warm welcome to you, sir. At the first instance, how do the numbers really appear to you for Reliance Industries, sir?
Yeah, I think Sakshi, on the face of it, I think numbers are definitely in line with expectations, and I think the big improvement has been largely been on the on the telecom business as well as the retail business. We have seen a very strong growth in the operational top line as well as the operating EBITDA for both the retail as well as for the Jio business. The ARPUs have also come in pretty decent. Plus, subscriber base has increased quite significantly. The only disappointment which I saw in the numbers, on the face of it, has been the OTC business. There, I think margins have not been very significant. But overall, I think retail as well as the telecom business has done considerably well. And I think despite a stagnant top line growth, I think the operational EBITDA has shown a growth of 16-17% on an annual basis, which itself shows that profitability wise, Reliance has done a good job. I think clearly, what kind of commentary comes from the management post these numbers as to what kind of growth estimates they are looking at both the telecom as well as the retail businesses and the OTC segment is something which markets would like to watch out for. But broadly, I think numbers are in line with expectations, and I think the stock should open positively tomorrow because these numbers are definitely much better than what the street was expecting.
Okay, numbers better than street estimates. The stock should react positively. That's the word coming in. Mr. Gorakshakar, this is exactly what I wanted to ask you, that the stock has done decent right before the earnings as well. I think on a YTD basis, it's up 6% or do you think on the basis of these numbers, the stock can continue to build on the kind of growth that investors have seen?
Yeah, I think my guess is, numbers have come out in line with expectation, but the stock has moved up quite significantly ahead of the numbers. So I think my sense is that, the stock could open positively tomorrow, but then you could see a little bit of profit booking because clearly numbers were discounted in advance. And I think the stock has also appreciated to a larger extent. So maybe some profit booking could come in, but I think longer term, I think next year, that is FY25, should be a much stronger year. So I think tomorrow we may see a little bit of profit booking at higher levels, but that is something which was expected.
Okay, since you did say that telecom space has performed very well, and that is also something that you see that as a growth driver this time around, let me just highlight for all our viewers some of the key numbers there. PAT has come in at 5,337 crores for Jio, and the subscriber additions have come in at 10.9 million subscribers that have been added, and the ARPUs have also seen an uptake at 181.7 per user as well. I wanted to understand from you, Mr. Gorakshakar, how do you see the ARPU numbers? Despite the no tariff hike this time around, the company has been able to improve its ARPUs. So going forward, there is a huge anticipation that there could be some tariff hikes coming in. How do you see ARPUs really going forward from here?
I think, see, my guess is that there is definitely good scope for ARPUs to increase, at least for the rest 12 months. We could see at least 7 to 8% increase. And I think the best part is that Jio has been adding subscribers. So, instead of, losing subscribers, which has been the case for Vodafone, we believe that, Jio has gradually started eating into the market share of Vodafone and subscriber base has increased. That is something which is very positive for the company. So I think you will probably see now the 5G rollout getting more active in the coming financial year. And that I think will obviously enhance the ARPUs going forward. So I think you will see some sort of improvement in the ARPUs because the 5G network is definitely more value added. And that is where I think ARPU improvement could come in.
Okay. Also, sir, do tell us on the retail front, what were the big positives for you? The margins have improved 7.6%. We've also seen the EBITDA coming at 5,829 crores, and the revenue has come in at 76,683 crores. Although this on a sequential basis has fallen when we see, and also the EBITDA figures have slightly reduced on a quarter-on-quarter basis, as well as the margins which have remained flat on a quarter-on basis. There is an improvement on a year-on-year basis thus far.
No, I think, see, clearly, Sakshi, looking at these businesses on a quarter-on-quarter basis may not be the right way to look at it. I would still say that, businesses like retail typically have to be seen on a year basis. Maybe the telecom business could be seen on a sequential basis. But I think clearly, longer term trajectory clearly shows that consumption trends, post-COVID have now improved. Pre-COVID levels are now getting visible. And I think there's a lot of big runway for the kind of growth we can see in the business for Reliance, especially the retail business. And I think markets are keenly awaiting that now after the Geo Finance, unlocking for shareholders. The next in the line would be the retail business, because obviously for a very long time the telecom and the retail business are two value blocks which eventually are going to be unlocked for the shareholders. So I think we'll have to wait and watch. But I think retail has now gained a scale which is very large, and I think obviously this could be the right time. Maybe coming financial year, we could see some announcements on this, development, that this unit will finally be unlocked and separately listed, and that at itself will give a reasonably good valuation to the overall, Reliance entity.
Absolutely. One is tariff hikes from the Geo front, and the other one is IPO plans for both the telecom as well as the retail front, which quarter on quarter everybody keeps an eye out on, but we haven't yet been able to see a separate listing announcement really come in from the company. As far as the OTC business is concerned, so you did see that there was some kind of a disappointment. Let me reiterate for all our viewers here. The revenue for the OTC business has come in at 1.43 lakh crore rupees. This is versus 1.29 lakh crore rupees on a year-on-year basis. The EBITDA has come in at 16,777 crores, and this is versus 16,293 crore rupees as far as the last year's same quarter numbers were concerned. EBITDA margins came in at 11.8%. This is a dip on a year-on-year basis from 12.7% on this front as well. Where exactly do you see the problem emerging? A lot of expectations were riding on the higher crude oil prices, that benefiting the margins for the company. That hasn't happened. What do you think could be the reason, sir?
No, I think my guess is that the product mix this time seems to be not favorable, and that is the key reason for margins to go down. But I think clearly, we may have to see another, say, couple of quarters with these kind of margins from the company, and I don't think you could see any significant amount of re-rating from this business. The real growth triggers for Reliance would be the retail and the telecom business and the Geo Finance business, which is now gradually scaling up. So I think the OTC business is going to be a drag at least for the near term. And I think this kind of performance, I think clearly Sakshi could be seen at least for the first half of next financial year also. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what kind of triggers could play out on this division.
All right, we'll have to wait it out to see what kind of triggers can really help Reliance Industries to post better set of earnings going forward from here. Anything else that was positive? I think the company has also approved a second dividend of 10 rupees per share for FY24. Earlier last fiscal, it had already paid a dividend of 9 rupees a piece as well. How do you see this news spurring the investors and the stock going forward?
I think my guess is, Sakshi, dividends are not a very large component of the overall cash outflow for Reliance. I think what the market and what investors would like from Reliance is that how much more further value unlocking could come in from the consolidated entity. So I think dividends definitely are a part and parcel of the cash outflow which the management has given to shareholders. But the real kicker would be from the value unlocking initiative, which I think now markets are keenly awaiting, that possibly FY25 we could see some announcement from the retail business, and thereafter the Geo business, the telecom business, which is definitely being put in a subsidiary, and where I think already some plans have been made for our value unlocking over the next, say, 1 to 2 years.
Okay. One more update as far as Jio is concerned. Jio's MD Sanjay Mashruwala has also resigned. That is another announcement that is coming from the company as of now. Would that be an overhang at all, sir?
No, I don't think, Sakshi, frankly speaking, this is not going to be such a big negative surprise as to, for the stock to get derated or to see any panic sell-off. I think markets would focus on the numbers and the kind of commentary the management would like to throw for the next, 6 to 12 months. So I think this is a very small kind of development, which I don't think is going to have any major significant impact on the company's performance as well as on the stock price.
Okay, that's as far as the viewpoint is concerned. Other than that, sir, what was your own expectation as far as the capex plans and the commissioning schedule of the new energy business is concerned? Has that come in as per expectations? Anything on that front? Any fine print that you can share with our viewers?
No, I think my understanding is that I would have liked to know what has been the investment of Reliance on the hydrogen facility. They have been saying that a lot of investment is going to come in new energy areas like green energy, hydrogen. So I think that is something which has not come out clearly in the numbers. But I think this is also one area which I think post elections could get a big kicker, because there are expectations that the government could announce a proper hydrogen policy, and Reliance has been making a lot of investment, a lot of efforts in ensuring that they enter the hydrogen sector, which I think is the next leg of growth for the company.
Hmm. Okay, got that. Apart from this, sir, what else would you be expecting as far as the management commentary is concerned, the kind of focus from the management is concerned for the upcoming quarters? What could be the key triggers for the stock to move higher from here?
No, I think my guess is that I think in terms of the telecom and the retail business, I think what kind of market outlook the management shares, that is important. And as far as the OTC business, what kind of growth trajectory does the management put out? I think very clearly the retail and the telecom business is going to be very important. And yes, not to forget the geo finance business, because now that is
Yes.
gradually scaling up. So I think what kind of initiatives the management takes for geo finance will be the center point, because that is one of the the latest kind of businesses of Reliance, and I think that remains no doubt. I think now they have said that they will be entering broking and wealth management also with BlackRock. So a lot of new initiatives have been announced. The market would like to know what have been the ground level updates on all these developments.
Okay. As far as the entire all the segments performance is concerned, they've all posted growth, and that is a bit of a positive that we are able to see as of now. In fact, Mukesh Ambani has made a statement that as far as Reliance Industries is concerned, it's become the first Indian company to cross the 1 lakh crore rupees threshold in pre-tax profits as well. So that's a bit of a positive that's coming in as far as the statements are concerned. He's also mentioned that Jio has proved its capability in strengthening the nation's digital infrastructure. That's another positive statement coming in from him. He's also mentioned that Reliance Retail providing customers with endless choices via robust omni-channel presence as well. So that's another one that he's mentioned as far as the retail growth is concerned. He's also said that there is a strong demand for fuels and limited flexibility in refining, which is supported the margin and the profit. So he is talking about strong demand for fuels and limited flexibility in refining. Then, as far as the downstream chemical industry is concerned, he said that it has experienced increasingly challenging market conditions. So that's a bit of a concern that he's talked about as far as the chemical industry is concerned. He's also talked about the KG-D6 block, where he says that it has achieved 30 SCMD of production. And that for sure is a positive again. It has also displayed, it now accounts for 30% of India's domestic gas production, is what he has mentioned. So those are some of the key insights that are coming in from Mukesh Ambani's statements as well. Refining and petchems, what were your own expectations and how do you assess the numbers that have come in?
No, I think numbers have been slightly, below expectations. We were expecting slightly better margins in terms of the gross refining margins, but I think this is a trend which, is applicable across the board. So my sense is, I think we'll have to wait and watch how the management, points out what kind of measures they are taking. But I think depending upon crude oil prices, if they do react negatively and they do come down, then I think gross refining margins could obviously get a booster shot for the company. So I think, Sakshi, it's better to wait and watch. I would like to hear the commentary post the numbers, because that is going to give more clarity, for the future trajectory of the stock.
Okay, some more important statements coming in as far as Reliance Retail is concerned. It's mentioned that during the quarter, the business acquired Indian business of Kiko Milano and the intellectual property, including trademarks and recipes, etc., of sugar boiled confectionery from Rawalgaon as well. So those are the two statements that have come in. Apart from this, they've also talked about expanding the store network with 562 new store openings, a gross area addition of 7.8 million square feet. They've also seen this quarter recording footfalls of over 272 million formats across formats, which is a growth of 24% on a year-on-year basis. They've also mentioned that the company has registered a customer base which has crossed a milestone of 300 million mark as well, making Reliance Retail one of the most preferred retailers across the country as well. So that is something, those are some of the details that are coming in. They've said Reliance Retail is among the most visited retailers in the world. The registered customer base was at 304 million at the end of this year, which is up 22% on a year-on-year basis as well. And to further improve the customer experience, the business has launched co-branded credit cards with SBI Card, offering benefits across segments with various spending needs. The business acquired Edamama, a kids and maternity wear brand, and majority ownership of Superdry IP for India too, along with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh markets. Sephora's India's franchise, and has also entered into an exclusive distribution arrangement with SMCP to launch Sandro and Maje brands in India, amongst the many initiatives to bolster the product capabilities through acquisition and partnerships. How do you see this move of consistent acquisition focus that the company has had in various consumer segments and retail segments, sir?
No, I think this is a part of the overall, strategy of Reliance. They have been growing both organically as well as inorganically, and I think, as long as growth continues, I think I believe the company management is open for acquisitions. In fact, even in the past, they have made acquisitions, and going forward also, if they find a good opportunity at the right valuation, then I think in the overall, perspective of things, I think it definitely is a good positive for the company as a whole. So I think this is a strategy which I think is going to continue in future also, and obviously would add long-term value to the shareholders of Reliance.
Okay, got that. Okay, so tomorrow, sir, you're already expecting that the stock could be moving into the positive. What kind of a surge do you expect, and what would your advice be to all the investors who've been holding the stock and to fresh investors as well?
I think, see, tomorrow, Sakshi, if at all the stock opens little high and then sees some correction, I would be a buyer around 2850 odd levels, and I think our fair value would be around 32 to 3300 rupees. So I think, you need to give in a little more time, because this is a large cap stock, and as everyone is says that once the news is out, you could see some selling happening. But I think this would be temporary, and I think markets would definitely look at the fact that going forward, FY25 is also going to be a equally strong year. So I think any correction, if at all one sees tomorrow due to profit booking, should be used as an opportunity to accumulate. I think over the next, say, 12-15 months, 32, 3300 looks very much possible.
Okay, over the next 12 to 15 months, 3200, 3300 is possible. In case there are any dips, those should be used to accumulate and to add on to the stock as of now. Good results as of now. Many thanks, Mr. Gorakshakar, for being with us on the show and decoding for our viewers what the results mean and how should investors really approach the stock tomorrow after the earnings. Many thanks for being with us. With that, viewers, we wrap up this quick take after Reliance Industries earnings. But do stay tuned on to Business Today Television, as we will continue to give you all the news that matters from the world of business and finance. And tomorrow morning, don't forget to tune in as we decode it even further, as the markets are able to digest the fine print of the earnings, and we will see how the stock reacts tomorrow.
Ireda, the counter is trying to open about